The stage had been set for a day of high drama at Tuesday's sitting of the House of Assembly. Richard Frederick, the housing minister at the centre of the controversy surrounding the sale of 1 hectare of land located at BANANES, in his presentation to Parliament, sought to refute the serious allegations made by opposition leader Alan CHASTANET about the land sale. The housing minister says the National Housing Corporation's board secured the services of Terence Sinclair, an experienced quantity surveyor, to do the valuation.
Mr. Sinclair was written formally. He was written to formally by the managing director, and he subsequently produced a valuation dated December 2021. If you look to the bottom, Mr. Speaker, the current market value as of December 12, 2021, EC 3.
Frederick accused the leader of the opposition of seeking to mislead the public by presenting the valuation for a parcel of land that no longer existed. The land, he said, had been subdivided and parcel 11 no longer existed.
The leader of the opposition, to cause political mischief and to give an apprehension of the perseverance of corruption, will show a valuation of parcel 11. Mr. Speaker, how on earth can a leader who's purporting to tell the truth, who's purporting to be honest with his people, put up a valuation of one piece of land for another? Why? Mr. Speaker, only the leader of the opposition knows why. And only him knows how to do that kind of mischief. But I will tell you and show you what happened, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, parcel 11 that he shows on his valuation does not exist as we speak. I want to repeat that. Parcel 11 does not exist as we speak. Mr. Speaker, parcel 11 existed 9 years ago.
Frederick says the idea was to sell parcel 50 to the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority, SLASPA. But despite the best efforts of the National Housing Corporation, he says, SLASPA was simply not interested.
10 months, no response, Mr. Speaker. But meanwhile, the board received an offer from Mr. Michael Gordon on behalf of his client, offering to buy that property for $1 million US. Having received that offer, Mr. Speaker, from Mr. Gordon, the board met immediately. And notwithstanding they had not heard from SLASPA for 10 months, they wrote SLASPA again. They wrote SLASPA again for the 3rd time on October 5th. Put up the letter for me, please. Good. October 5th. The board. It wasn't me. So I don't know how I got involved. Here it is again. Mr. Speaker, on top of those 3 letters, and before the final transaction was accepted from Mr. Michael Gordon, Mr. Speaker, I personally called the managing director of SLASPA. I personally called Mr. Darren Snack, and he can testify to that. I called him, I asked him about his interest. And basically, Mr. Speaker, he did not tell me why, but he told me they are not interested.
In his defense, leader of the opposition, Alan CHASTANET, says there was little difference in size between parcel 11 and parcel 50. The opposition leader says there is no sound explanation for the land being sold for $2.8 million.
You're suggesting to all of us, okay, that there's no way that 50 could be the same as 11. Okay? It's not exactly the same, but it's within the 1 hectare. And guess what? It's described as 1 hectare. And even if, so we now know that 50 and 11 are the same, except for a little slither of land for a footpath.
After listening to the arguments of both members of Parliament, The Member of Parliament for Castries Central, Housing Minister Richard Frederick, and Opposition Leader Alan CHASTANET, member for MICOUD South, the presiding officer and judge in the matter, Speaker of the House, Claudius Francis, called on the opposition leader to make his case of corruption.
The point is that the minister's role in this matter, Mr. Speaker, is that when the board makes a decision, it must get that decision approved by the minister. Okay? And so I want to know, if the minister knew that there was a valuation of $6.7 million, a new evaluation, and given his own understanding of real estate, and given the new valuation of $3.5 million, and that it was then sold for $2.7 million, and more importantly, that it was not put out to tender. So if in fact that we are to really believe what the minister has said, that all of this was simply to get money to pay for the building, why would you not want to be assured of the most amount of money? Why would you accept the first person that calls you up out of the blue and says, hey, I have $1 million, will you accept $1 million US for it?
The Speaker of the House ruled that the opposition leader did not make his case and called on him to withdraw the statement and apologize.
I now put the question that this House do rule that failing to issue an apology and a withdrawal as directed by the Speaker, that the Honourable Alan CHASTANET is not to be allowed in the presence of this Honourable Chamber until such time as this is done. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion, say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion, say no. Madam Clerk, please take note. And the officers of this chamber are to be accordingly directed. And the presence of this House, as you know, extend further than the building.
The opposition leader is standing his ground, refusing to withdraw his statement or to apologize. But until the withdrawal and apology, there will be one vacant seat on the opposition benches. Stanley Lucien for the HCS News Force.